Hello everyone, welcome to Ekam Academy. Welcome to the Hindu editorial analysis which we are going to discuss now. So today the date is 27th January 2025, and in this particular Hindu editorial today, if you could see, an enduring commitment to the Indo-Pacific. So as you know, as Trump has sworn in, there are various changes which are happening in the geopolitics of the world, and there is also a course of concern on what would be happening on this particular Indo-Pacific region. Indo-Pacific region is nothing but those particular countries which are bordering and connecting this Indian Ocean with that of Pacific Ocean region. How Trump is going to behave, how his administration is going to contribute, that is what we are going to focus in this particular segment. And this is very important for your GS paper 2 in the international relations component, as India has lots of hope from Trump administration, and in the similar way, Quad as an organization, as a group, as a bloc, and Pacific Ocean region countries and Indian Ocean region countries also have greater significance on Trump's victory, and how Trump is going to react. Every part of this particular corner is going to wait, and this Indo-Pacific is likely to regain again prominence. Again, as the Trump has won, he is going to develop a huge amount of significant economic contribution. Political approaches might change in this particular region. So we have to wait and see what his administration says. But here there have been given certain analysis viewpoint by the editor. We will see what is the notion which is going to be concentrated here. As written, as US President emphasizes a renewed focus on Indo-Pacific region, strengthening the Quad alliances to counter China's influence. So Quad mein India, Japan, Australia, Japan and USA, these are the four major blocks of alliances which would be coming. So as China thinks that its strings of pearl policy jo hai, like that is going to create a havoc condition to India, but India is also having that counteract segment, and Quad is one such kind of counteract policy to that of India acting very influencing, India being very influencing in this particular Quad is a counter segment for this particular China's approach as such. Clear? So if you see Trump as US president and its geopolitical influence and significance, his return as the president of USA, as 47th president, represents a historic political comeback. This comeback is not just easiest one, it's the greatest comeback after Biden being in a greater sense. Clear? So if you could see, the inauguration also highlights the Indo-Pacific importance, as we were discussing, with foreign ministers from India, Japan and Australia, as these are part of this particular Quad alliance. There is huge importance of this particular scenario, and this signals a strong focus on Quad partnership and unique China dominance. To counter this particular unique China dominance, this particular Quad partnership, USA, India, Japan and Australia, is very important, emphasizing defense, economic and technological cooperation for regional stability. So when these particular four countries, they contribute in their defense exchange of technologies and economic partnerships when they boom up, along with the technological cooperation when they would happen, they are going to hit at a very large rate. If you see the significance of Indo-Pacific in Trump's first term, so when Trump has won back then in his first term, what was the importance of Indo-Pacific? If you see, adoption of the term Indo-Pacific was started during this particular first term. It has introduced this, replacing this particular term called as Asia-Pacific to broaden the region's geopolitical scope. And this term also emphasized securing sea lines of communication and addressing maritime challenges, mainly to counteract this particular China's growing influence. If you could see, across the world, China has spread like virus. In biological sense, in political sense, in economic sense, every sense, China has spread at very large rate. So this particular Indo-Pacific, since the first term of Trump, it is acting as a counteracting for this particular China's growing influence. But to be practical in nature, this Quad could not reduce the China's growing influence as such. Now, in the Trump's second term, what are the policies and decisions which he is going to take. They are going to decide this particular segment. And this approach has integrated all these economic considerations, highlighting the Indian Ocean strategic importance. So in the first term, it was this Indo-Pacific term which has replaced the Asia-Pacific as such. Moving further, revival of the Quad. If you see, Trump's administration reinvigorated the Quad as strategic grouping, elevating its dialogue to the ministerial level, and the focus was on maritime security, resilient supply chains and technology cooperation, and emphasizing shared regional interest. So first, what was the first thing? The term Indo-Pacific was introduced, and the second thing is revival of the Quad, the 4 group entities of alliance to counteract this particular China. This was mentioned. And if you could see, Quad, it is a strategic partnership bloc between Australia, India, Japan and United States, focusing mainly on promoting a free, open and inclusive Pacific Ocean, Indo-Pacific regions, which main focuses on, if you see the key cooperation areas of cooperation, maritime security is one thing which they are going to focus, infrastructure development, counter-terrorism, one of the most important entities, and humanitarian assistance. These are the 4 segments of areas where this particular Quad is going to focus. And if you could see, what is the significance of this Quad? And however, the enemy for this 4 entities would be China. So, counterbalancing China's growing influence in the region and promoting rules-based international order and regular summits and meetings. So, this Quad as a bloc, Quad as a strategic partnership, it helps discussions regarding with the regional challenges and strengthening the cooperation in it. And certain initiatives which have already been part of this particular Quad, if you see, the Quad vaccine partnership, supply chain resilience and infrastructure development projects. So one initiative which was very successful was Quad vaccine partnership. So during the COVID time also, and before that also, there was huge amount of vaccine distribution in this 4 particular countries for reasonable prices. And supply chain resilience initiatives were initiated, where the supply chain market between India, Australia, Japan and US have been strengthened at a very very high rate. And infrastructure development projects of investing of one country on the other, especially US shall be investing mostly in India. And a few projects of Japan are running right now in Australia, and Australia in lieu of it, it is sending coal and iron ore, bauxite to these particular Japan. So these regional based initiatives are going on. Quad, it is one of the most important entity or strategic partnership which is very important right now for India, because India have a segment of Viksit Bharat 2047. So if India has to achieve this particular goal, Quad and BRICS, these are the 2 entities which are going to push India a lot. And India ka jo United Nations Security Council mein permanent membership which is there, that is also going to be fulfilled with the help of this particular Quad entity itself. And continuity under Biden's presidency, if you see, later on after the Trump has lost the election and Biden has won, Biden administration maintained Indo-Pacific strategic importance and built on the Trump era framework. So they did not deteriorate it, they have continued it as such. Biden convened the first Quad leader summit in 2021 and to broadening the agenda to include vaccines, climate change and infrastructure development. In 2022 also, if you see, Biden introduced Indo-Pacific economic framework to strengthen economic engagement alongside security priorities. But this was the idea actually of Trump's administration, and as Trump has came back to power and he has revived the power, now chances would be there his second term might see more development of this Quad, more strategic entity of this particular Quad as such. Strengthening US focus on the Indo-Pacific region, if you see, it plans, now the Trump administration plans to sharpen hard power dynamics while addressing new regional challenges which might have developed in Japan or in other nations, if you could see. And it also emphasizes on bilateral and multilateral engagement such as Quad Leader Summit, which will prioritize maritime as which were the key cooperation areas, economic and technological security. The focus will remain on preserving the rules-based order and enhancing partnerships with like-minded nations. So if you are going to see, this is the segment which have approached. And now, ye to like this is an expected note. Like he is going to create a quad leader summit, and like-minded nations को एक order पे लाके, like he is going to preserve the rules-based order, and also hard power dynamics we are going to see counteracting this Korea as well as China. See, they are saying China counteracting, but US is also trying to counteract this particular Korea as such. And if you see, Trump's second term is expected to maintain a greater Indo-Pacific prominence in US foreign policy, where it is going to give a larger hand as such, and administration also strengthens security and economic frameworks to ensure regional stability and counter China's growing influence. But in this, never they are going to mention Korea, because North Korea and South Korea, if you see, they are also posing a threat to this US. But US never directly targeted this particular Korea as such. It just want to counteract this China. Collaboration with Quad partners will play a central role in advancing shared strategic goals in Indo-Pacific. But here you have to analyze the issue of how Quad is important to India. Because they are not going to expect, or we are not going to expect any question in GS paper 2 from the entity like how Quad is important for Trump or how Quad is important for the global order. How Quad is important for India, India being part of that, what benefits it can take. This is what the order of question would be. So you try to make a sense of how Quad like entity is very, very important as such. If you could see, certain questions have appeared in the mains examination already, and already I have given a practice question. Let me read this particular question. The quadrilateral security dialogue is transforming itself into a trade bloc from a military alliance. So इसमें security से economic bloc it is changing up. And in present times, like how it is changing from a trade bloc itself into a trade bloc from this particular military alliance in the present times, discuss. This was a 250 word answer which you have to write for 15 marks. And practice question, if you see, discuss the strategic significance of Indo-Pacific region and global geopolitics and analyze the role of the Quad in maintaining regional stability. So how this particular question you can approach, once try to analyze. Ek bar if you want, you can take the help of ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. Nowadays, a few artificial AI tools have become very strengthened that it is giving you some structured answers. So if you want, you can write these answers from the AI. If you are not able to write the answer, at least once you see that, post that, write by seeing itself for the initial phase. Later on, you develop a habit of structuring the answer on your own. Clear? So try to address these particular questions. If you want us to make any content of topics for you, please you do drop it in the comment section. We will be helping you with that particular content. Thank you for watching this video. Have an awesome day. Jai Hind.